Hello everyone, we are back with a fighting game called Sonic Strikers. Now, I enjoy fighting games a lot, but I couldn't really get into this game as much as I wanted to. Mostly because I had a DS4 pad, and when that's plugged in, the game just really doesn't like it, so I had to use my keyboard. I got destroyed by Tails because there was no way I was going to win on this keyboard. So I will say, from the time I played, I think Tails is actually a bit too strong. Like, he had moves that would actually damage me, and it would leave me in a frozen state, and I couldn't even get out of it no matter how much I mashed, and the only way that I could get out of this free state was when he would hit me. So hopefully soon I could get a new Xbox controller so I could actually give this game another go. Super Mario XP is a cool Mario fan game that has the classic feel of the first Super Mario Bros. Game, but with changes such as health bars and a limit to how many fireballs you can shoot. There was some inspiration from the Castlevania games, so if you like that series and Mario, this is one to check out. I actually enjoyed this one quite a bit. I had to use my keyboard for this one as well as there was no controller support. Next is Supersonic Cooking, which is a top-down game in which Sonic and Big the Cat are working at a food cart. Characters will approach you and place in their order. Then it's up to Sonic to quickly pick up the ingredients within the time limit. The time limit is actually pretty short. I actually have never gotten all the ingredients on time, but I think that you'll be okay as long as you gather most of them. So I thought this game was actually okay. It's on the Unity engine, and this one has controller support, so it felt pretty comfortable for me. Tales on the Lost Lands is a fan game that I have played before. I think this was at last year's Sage. I quickly remembered that I have played this before once I got to the second act of this game. The animation of Tails is a bit odd as you have this Morrowind style third person camera. I thought the game was actually okay. It had a homing attack and very responsive inputs. My only problem with this game, however, is that the enemies damage you sometimes when you attack them. So I usually just skip them altogether, and this is actually the reason why I couldn't complete the demo, as there was a boss at the end of the second act in which you had to attack some of these enemies to unlock a switch, and then that damage bug started happening to me, so I had to shut down here, sadly. And next is Tails Adventures 2. This is another Tails game that looks something like a game that you would see on the Game Gear. I'm not exactly sure what the objective is, so I just searched for these golden items, and then I eventually reached the top of the stage. And once I was there, I couldn't proceed any further because there appeared to be like blocked passages on both sides, and there was no way for me to drop back down, so I had to stop here. And also, you can fly in this game, and I'm not exactly sure if there's a limit to how long you can fly for, as it seemed to be really lengthy, like just long enough for me to get to wherever I needed to get, so I didn't even bother checking. I also want to talk about another entry called Sonic Outbound. I think this is a boss rush game that is actually pretty good. There was this fight with Eggman where you had to make him shoot himself with his own missiles, and another one with Fang the Sniper jumping around and throwing things at you. There was more bosses in this game, but I actually could not get past playing against Fang while I was using the keyboard. So this game is actually really good, and I hope to revisit it. Pac-Man makes his way into Sage, and from what I remember, this is the only Pac-Man entry this year. This game plays like your basic Pac-Man game, but the ghosts in this one are actually more smarter, faster, and aggressive. Also, when you get the power pellet and eat the ghosts, they will get sent back to the base and immediately spawn back on the field so they can start hunting you again. And those openings on the side of the map, they're actually gone. So you can't, escape to the left and right of the stage. So this game was actually very freaking harsh in my opinion, and I just really didn't enjoy it. Next up is Ultimate Sonic Heroes Definitive Edition, which is a fighting game on the Mugen engine. there's a large selection of characters to choose from, including Eggman. So I chose him first as I thought his sprites looked great, and also it was just hilarious. So there were also characters like Joe from the Shinobi game and Mega Man EXE. I found myself liking Bonnie Rabbit for her mobility and her moveset, and Sally Acorn because she was the only character that appeared to be able to cancel moves into supers. Also, the sprites on her just look really freaking great. So, almost everyone in this game actually looks really good. Like, almost everyone's sprites are like really freaking good. So, that's one of the like uppers about this game, because it's not the best fighting game, but it did have very responsive inputs. So for that, I thought it was really good. Yo Noid is a returning entry at this year's Sage, and I already had a save file when I started this game up from the last time that I've played. So this game is like a Sonic game, but you play as this cancelled mascot instead called the Noid. So the Noid used to be used in advertisements for Domino's Pizza, and he also had his own game in the 16-bit era. So the game is actually fun, and I enjoyed the level design as well as this zone's theme. It's called the Tomato Plant Zone, I believe, and it looks very similar to my favorite zone, the Chemical Plant. So I actually like this demo a lot. The only issue that I had was the water lock. There were times when I'm just trying to jump out of the water and it just feels like I'm very heavy. So there were just a lot of times when I was trying to jump on these moving cubes to get myself out of the water, and it was just so heavy and I just kept falling back down to the bottom of the stage, and it was just really frustrating. So that was my only problem with the demo. And that's going to do it. We are actually finally done with Sage. We are at the end. There were so many entries this year. Thank you to all the mod authors for their submissions, and thank you for everyone who watched this video. So I will see you all later. Take care of yourselves.